Hey everyone, how's it going? I hope you're having a great Tuesday. I'm here with two familiar faces now. I've been on the channel quite a few times, CC and SK. And BT should be joining us here in a little bit. And we're going to be talking about all things elephant money. So we're going to be just talking about, we've seen a little bit of a price dip. So we're going to talk about that, obviously. I'd like to go through some of the Dune page. If you guys haven't looked at that, I'd like to go through just what do some of these numbers mean? What do some of these trends that we're seeing? What does the future hold for elephant? Is now a question I keep getting, is now a good time to get into elephant? You know, whenever you see a price go way up, you're kind of like, well, is this a good time to get in or am I too late? So we'll talk through all those things. And also, audience, anything else that you guys feel that you want to talk about, any questions you have, criticism, whatever the case might be, go ahead and bring them up and we will bring all those things up. So as we're getting started, please hit the like button. That helps me out. That's really all I need from you guys. Your attention and the like button. That's the number one things. Question of the day. What pets do you have? Okay, we're talking about elephant. Yeah, hopefully you don't have an elephant as a pet, but it's an animal. What pets do you have? I have a cat named Baymax, which is from Big Hero 6. It's mostly my daughter's cat, but I have adopted him as well. Although we've had to give him surgery 2 times. It cost me $5,000, but worth it, you know, for the smile on my daughter's face that her cat is not dead. So let's do, we don't need to do long introduction because we've had you guys on lots of times, but maybe just quick couple sentences about you, who you are, your background, and then we'll dive into elephant money. CC, we'll start with you.
Okay. Hey, I go by CC Crypto Man. My name is Callan Coleman, and I live in the Pacific Northwest. And I am a volunteer in this protocol to just be a part of the community. I want to be a positive part of this community because there are just so many great things that I see about elephant money that make a lot of sense for me and my family and friends. And so I have been a musician most of my adult life. So I've played the bass for more than 30 years. And then to make a living, I've been a middle school counselor and also a realtor, none of which have garnered me the kind of retirement where I can even consider retiring. I'm 55 and I don't have that kind of a retirement set for me. So I've looked at opportunities for investing. For the most part, you know, trying to get into real estate for investing and so on, you have to have quite a large amount of money to be able to put into just getting started investing in real estate. And so decentralized finance has been something that I've studied daily, worked on, and I feel that the studying that I have done has helped me to see and understand how incredibly brilliant elephant money is. And it has pulled me into a wonderful community of people, of which I am sitting with two men who I consider to be friends right here today.
Amen. All right. How about you, SK?
Hello. Yes, name's SK Crypto K. I am also a YouTube influencer. Little small guy here, but yeah, I've been in DeFi since January 2021. I've diversified across dozens upon dozens of different protocols, and elephant money just happens to be my favorite. And I'm a passionate community member here to just, walk us through what's going on today.
Okay, very good. Great to have you guys. Again, we're planning on doing this maybe once a month or once every, I don't know, just whenever we feel like there's something to talk about. So let's jump right into the elephant in the room. You guys get it? That's a little bit of pun there. But let's jump right into the elephant in the room. So some people are kind of panicking. We're seeing it in the comments already. But we've seen a little bit of a pullback in the chart here. And this is especially, I think, concerning for people, on normal charts, you don't really, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, it's just a down day. Bitcoin, has those, whatever. But we're not used to seeing this in elephant, right? And so I think it's Medellin says, freaking out anyone else. So I just wanted to talk through what you guys think. First off, what's causing this? Second off, is this cause for an alarm? You know, is the sky falling apart? Just wanted to kind of get your guys' take on the current situation. So, CC, just because you happen to be first on the list here, let's go ahead and start with some of your thoughts.
Well, what I want to do is talk really from the foundation of how bank teller speaks about the overall big picture of elephant money. And so I was listening to SKMBT on a recent AMA, and you know, I really appreciate how he talks about what people need. And you know, his 25 years in traditional finance have taught him a lot about where businesses come from, especially if you're in finance. People need two things. They want two things in finance. They want yield and they want growth. And everything else in between is just kind of nothing. It's a nothing burger. For example, the average person is not buying and holding stocks and seeing any, you know, really any returns in that. So it's just not appealing to them. And so what he's done with this protocol is he has built it so that it is engineered for long-term yield and growth. And so therefore, seeing a chart like this, seeing a day like this is not cause for alarm for all of us who understand that this is a community bank. It's designed for all of us to grow our wealth over a long period of time. So a couple of days of red do not alarm us, especially because a huge portion of this engineering is that when people are selling, the Treasury is actually growing, and the Treasury is what is a key driver to why the price it continues to increase. And we also just don't sit and chart watch. We have multiple different elements of this product that we can choose from. So there is a menu. We're not just looking at everything is tied up in holding elephant token and that's that. We have a futures account. We have farming. We have NFTs. There are other products that we also have at our on the menu for us to enjoy. So that's my answer at this moment.
That's your take. Awesome. And CC, I think your mic is doing the robotic effect again. It's a cool effect. Okay. Yeah, and it's really cool. But yeah, maybe turn down the gain a little bit. It's not terrible. We can hear you fine, but it's just a little bit cool. But let's go over to SK then. SK, do you have anything you want to add to that? What's your take on, first off, why maybe people chose now? They just thought the price was high enough, so a bunch of people just taking some profit. Maybe just give some of your thoughts on the situation.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, when it comes to the token itself, you know, you have to realize it is just one aspect of the overall ecosystem. There are plenty of price insensitive aspects of Elephant, like futures and the NFTs and all of these things that actually buy Elephant token in the background. That's why there's always constant buy pressure on the Elephant token. But we're just looking at a period of time where there's some panic selling. Okay, this isn't a vulnerability. This isn't an exploit of any kind, right? This is just people profit taking and then people looking at the chart who's used to seeing a nice 1 to 2% daily growth. And then, oh my gosh, you know, it's different, you know, and a lot of these people, we've been growing quite significantly the last couple months. And I think some of the newer folks who just don't yet understand the details of, you know, how volume and volatility is actually very beneficial for the long-term health of this protocol because of the value capture that we talked about. When you do make a purchase or a sell, there is a fee collected that does go out to either the graveyard, if it's on Pancake Swap, the sell and buy, or if they use the website's buy with Bertha, the lion's share of that fee collection goes right into Bertha. And one really important note to realize too is, you know, no one said that this protocol is out of the woods. We've still are feeling the ramifications of that vulnerability a year and a half ago. Our Bertha elephant treasury isn't the same size as she was the day of the exploit at that time, right? She had 212 trillion tokens in her bag, right? Before she got zapped. Today, she only has 175.5 trillion. She's a far cry from where she was. So when people realize that, hey, Bertha's supposed to be that whale that doesn't dump on me, right? Well, the chart, she's not the one dumping right now. It's just other people, but she is getting a fee collection. She is growing in size. And so for the long term holders, this is going to be completely fine. So, yeah.
Okay, very good. And a couple comments. The red candle is just short-term investors jumping ship. Long way to go for elephant. That is one thing that I appreciate about the elephant community is, and Cece, you brought this up to me, but there's no shame in taking some profits. And the elephant community is not a community to tell you, hey, you should never ever sell and you should never take profits. It kind of defeats the whole purpose to have a token that you're never supposed to take profits on. And that's the way I'll just say it out loud. That's the way I feel in the drip community is they tell you, hey, what are you doing selling? You should just keep hydrating. It's like, well, got to take profits sometime. And so I really appreciate the elephant community encourages people. Hey, yeah, you've appreciated quite a bit. Take a little profits. And that is good. That volatility is good for the elephant treasury, which I want to check out here on the dune a little bit. Let's see other comments. No pets, 7 kids is enough. I totally get that. Let's see. Wonderful to see these integrity-filled leaders together again. Thank you for taking your time to share with the world what is happening with elephant money. Well, thank you for watching. Again, we can only do it if people watch. So appreciate you guys being here. So SK, I see you've got Dune up. So maybe you can walk us through some of the things that Dune tells us about, and maybe just make some observations on where we're sitting. What does this dump do to the liquidity pool? What does it do to the treasury? And maybe just walk us through some of the technicalities here on the Dune chart.
Yeah, I'll go through some of it. If anything doesn't make sense, I'll try my best to run it back and explain it a different way. But essentially, this is the same treasury red blue chart that I show all of the time. And, you can see, pre-exploit a year and a half ago versus afterwards. And really the recipe that's happened here, which is when the LPs in blue are dropping and Bertha in red is growing, you get, supply shockonomics. Now, it's important to note, look at where the red is, nowadays. It's still not where it was, back before. This is that 212 trillion I mentioned her size was a year and a half ago versus today's 175.5. But more importantly, everything's fine. She's still growing. You can see in the last 7 days right here that she has grown. The Bertha's elephant treasury has grown 1.5 trillion tokens. Now, the only difference happening right now with the sell pressure that's happened yesterday and today is that the LPs have changed. So we're used to seeing in a 7-day period this being a negative number, right? We want to remove tokens out of the LPs because Bertha's buying it. Human holders are buying it. And usually this is like a negative number. Right now, it's positive. That means the blue on the chart is probably creeping up. If I zoom in enough, yeah, you can see how that blue is kind of upticking right there, right?
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
So it's all tracked right here. But when you zoom out, the macro view is we're still deep into what this protocol is designed to do. And I think the one commenter said it perfectly. This is all just short-term, short-sighted people who probably look at elephant and it was just going up and they just wanted to capture the hype train. And then the moment it goes down, they're like, oh, yep, no, I'm going to get out. And, they probably sold at a loss or they sold at a profit. Here's the thing. There is no sell shaming here. Like, to me, it's just another day. I mean, it's a little bit more exaggerated, but at the end of the day, I know this is healthy for Bertha. I know that this is healthy for all of the new people with the string of AMAs I've done, and they've been hoping for some sort of a dip for an entry point. This is their opportunity. The fundamentals here have not changed. Anything I've said in the AMAs have not changed. This is just an opportunity, in my opinion.
Okay, and could you talk a little bit about something we've seen recently that we haven't seen as much before is the price. That price line is way above, the Treasury and the LP, whereas for most of the history of Trunk, the market cap has been lower than the Treasury. Do you want to talk about that? Is that I don't know, what are your thoughts on that? Is that a valid observation? Does that mean anything?
No. It is. So when you switch how you look at this chart, right? Like, okay, the standard chart everybody looks at here is, the USD value. Okay, we all want to see all time high, and we're in USD value. But when you actually switch it in regards to how much money per BNB, like, okay, I'll say this at the a year and a half ago pre-exploit, you know how we mentioned that Elephant on chain is the number 3 holder of rat BNB. Do you remember that stat?
I do
And
remember that.
and yeah, and I haven't checked it today. I should probably pull it up, but I think we're holding about, I don't know, 115,000 BNB coins today. But pre-exploit, we were actually hitting that all-time high we achieved with only like 65,000 BNB coin in that LP. Huge difference. We're almost doubled that. And that's what you're seeing on this chart here. We've doubled the size of the BNB that we hold in the protocol. And we've battled against BNB actually being 50% down from the last parabolic run. I think at that time, BNB in March of 2022 was like $425 per coin. And now today it's only $200 per coin, and we're actually nipping at the heels of all-time high. It's just that there's so many good success milestones that this protocol has achieved since that attack that today my confidence is still high. The fundamentals are still working, and we just have a spring-loaded action. Guess what happens when BNB actually rises up and we hold double the amount of BNB we held before? That means we're just going to rocket upwards. You know what I mean? So the fundamentals, the spring-loaded action is all strong, and it was expected that once we get really close to all-time high, something's going to shake out. People are going to try to FUD. You've got detractors. And don't forget, we still have enemies out there. The people that perform the flash loan are watching the success. And of course, they don't want us to hit all time high. So what are they going to do? They're going to try to stop the momentum. And that's all this is. Like, let the weak hands shake out, guys. But for those who understand the fundamentals, this is very healthy, actually, for the protocol at large. Yeah.
Okay. Nope. That's helpful.
Hey,
Helpful to know. CC,
can
did
I
you have
just?
something you wanted to add?
Yeah. Do I sound better? I tried resetting everything
No. Yeah.
because I
You
don't.
sound good. I kind of missed the crackle though. It was
Oh,
it was
well,
a nice effect,
I'll
but yeah,
try
it's
to
gone
make
now.
some of that. I'll try to add some of that into the. Yeah, there we go. I'll pull out my guitar. Um, I'd like to add a little something to what SK was saying. These are just my own personal thoughts and theories. Obviously, all of you new people, none of this is financial advice. We're not financial advisors. We are not telling you what to do with your money. We're just average guys talking about our journey and talking about what we're learning. So this is all up to you. But one of the things that I think that is weighing into this is one factor. Very recently, we are seeing quite a flood of new, um, what's the best way to say it? They're not new. Actually, well-established YouTubers have been covering elephant money. New eyes, I guess, is what I'm saying. It seems like there's probably a lot of new eyes have come into this project over the last number of weeks. And one of them is due to the fact that SK has been on quite an AMA tour. I think he's taking advantage of the fact that he's got a few cracks of time being at home a little more with his baby and his wife, but he's also incredibly committed, and he's our best spokesman next to BT as far as being able to just really break down nuts and bolts. So, but I think that, I think that's just going to bring in some different types of attitudes, not all of which are looking at the health of the project, because even though we don't sell shame, we also don't we don't encourage pump and dump. That's for sure. We encourage, having this be something that you care about. Just, buying up a big bag and then waiting and then dumping your large bag and doing things that aren't healthy. Well, that's, that means you're not necessarily a part of what we are encouraging as far as being a community that really cares about the long-term health of the project. So
Okay.
that's my
Nope.
theory.
Yep. Thanks for adding that. That's super helpful. One more question I had on the Dune before I want to get to some audience questions and concerns. And again, I totally understand if people are panicking. That's why we're doing video today. We'll just talk through it. Talk through all these questions. One more question I had on Dune. So as the price of elephant goes up, the liquidity pool is half elephant and half BNB, correct? That's what the liquidity pool token is made up of. Is that correct, SK?
There are two LP pairs. You listed one of them, elephant paired with BNB, and then you've got elephant paired with BUSD in a separate, equally sized pool, which we are I think the top 5 holder on chain for BUSD.
Okay, gotcha. So, okay, nope, that makes a lot of sense. So as the price goes up, and the liquidity pool has to kind of balance with the price of elephant going up because the price of BNB has not been appreciating this much. So is there kind of an impermanent loss in the liquidity pool token? Is that part of why the liquidity pool just goes, we see it kind of going down from up here? Or what's kind of I've had some people ask me, why does the liquidity pool seem to be going down? Maybe you can talk through that.
I want to say it's impermanent loss. The liquidity pool, I just pulled up to, I'm just looking at it. You don't have to screen share it, but we are still the number 3 holder of WBNB. And at one point, we had 115,000 BNB, and now it says 102,000 BNB. So there has been some BNB that has actually left the liquidity pool. So that's why, you're seeing that drop. If I was to look at the Elephant stats page, the current locked liquidity is $78.9 million. Whereas a week ago, we had like over $90 million. So, you've got some fluctuations happening with the price change on the Elephant token and the panic selling that's happening. But yeah, that's what you're seeing.
Okay. Nope, that helps. That was just a question I had gotten and didn't have a good answer. So that's why I bring in the experts, is to get the good answers. Let's get some audience questions here, audience comments, and guys, feel free to ask anything. Criticisms, that's fine. So you wouldn't if you're not if you don't have haters, you're not doing anything meaningful. That's what I've kind of as a YouTuber, that's what I didn't have any haters till I was up at like 7,000, 8,000 subscribers. Then I started getting some haters. And now I have a lot of haters, but I just take it as I'm doing something right. But BT said already there will be some selling once we're close to all-time high. Yes, and I would probably expect that. Let's see. No matter how great the tokenomics may be, the community sentiment has the final say. What then makes the Elephant ecosystem so different? What will keep Elephant from going the way of Luna?
No, that's a really good question. So that's exactly right. When it comes to the community, the Elephant protocol is only going to do what the community wants it to do, right? But in my opinion, what makes this different is when you look at the top 200 holders of the Elephant token out of the 30,000, they haven't sold. This is a very established floor that we have with the top holders who didn't even sell even on the flash loan a year and a half ago. They just really doubled down. So when you look at the established holder base and this community that BT's really built over 6 years' time from project to project, you've got a very strong foundation. And I think, the weak hands that you see right now, they're just one of the newer ones that, honestly came in within the last 6 months. And they were just accustomed to their 3% a day rise, and now it's not. So, they want to shake out, and that's fine. It's healthy for the protocol. And I've got one stat pulled up, but we're still outperforming 96% of the top 100 cryptos, including Bitcoin and Ethereum. We're still up 262% in 1 year, which no other crypto, and at least not Bitcoin can claim that. So we've had a rocket upward. And of course, there's going to be a correction before we go right back up. So.
Okay. Nope, that's good. CC, you have anything you want to add to that?
Oh, well, yeah. On
Oh
my
no,
YouTube
robot
channel,
is back.
Robot's
Is it
back.
The robot is
Yeah.
back.
The robot's
It's
back.
so weird. It sounds just fine to me. That's the weird part. Let me.
Well, and it's like working most of the time, but then just once in a while it's coming back.
Okay. I might just literally change mics. It's never happened with this mic, but maybe it's going bad. So should I just change mics, or is it?
Yeah, maybe just change mics, and you got a strong, powerful enough voice, anyways. So
I'll move on. Okay.
I can switch gears to something, James. So here's another Dune analytic that I'll show. But I really want to highlight the price insensitive nature of the ecosystem when it comes to something like futures. So this is the futures dashboard. This is where the people participating in futures and they're getting their 0.5% a day on BUSD. They don't care what's going on right now. They are just happy. They're growing. They're compounding. They're claiming. But even just in the last couple days, this is a very easy to follow metric. But you have the green, which is representing the total deposits that are coming in fresh to the ecosystem, versus the red. And you don't see any panic claiming or withdrawals happening on this red section. It's still just doing its average thing, and the daily deposits are actually outperforming it. And if I look at the tooltip, it'll show you even today. Is that today? Yeah, that's today. $60,000 has come into futures, and only 13,000 has left futures. Let's look at the day before, or 2 days ago. 25,000 has left, but 57,000 has come in. So you have a pretty healthy participation happening right now, which, remember, you look at this BUSD Treasury, and this is where 90% of the deposits going into futures lands before this buys elephant token on behalf of Bertha. So in other words, you can think of this BUSD Treasury as a buyback wallet, right? Like at the moment, obviously it's getting outpaced with the panic selling, but who's going to be scooping up all this cheap elephant token? Think about it. It's going to be Bertha. Yesterday, she had 174 trillion tokens. Now she has 175, almost 176, because she's the one buying the dip. She's just DCAing. This is just another day for Bertha. She don't care.
Yeah, nope, she doesn't care at all. Here's a good question. Kozak would like to say, hey, James, would you consider this a buy moment then? So again, we want to emphasize not financial advice. Okay, I want to emphasize that. I am not just my own thoughts. If you've been wanting into elephant, then what I would do is I would first wait to see if this is kind of the bottom of this drop. There's probably a lot of people that are going to see the drop and say, "Oh, I got to get out. I got to get out." And some of that is just sentiment from the rest of crypto, where we've seen, "Oh no, it's going down," and some people, "Oh, I got to better get out what I can." That's probably going to happen. It's hard for me to tell exactly how much that's going to be. Are we done with that here? Is that everybody who wants out? And, from here on down is people who believe in it long term? I don't know. So I would maybe, if it was me, I would maybe wait to make sure it's kind of the bottom of this dump, but then I would consider it a buy moment. I mean, if you can expect this chart to kind of continue picking up where it left off, then this is a much better spot to buy than here was. So again, not financial advice, but that's kind of the way that I would look at it is make sure that we're not going to see it come down to here, something like that. But then as soon as the greens start coming, I would probably consider it a buy opportunity. I don't know if you guys, again, not financial advice. I'm not telling you what to do. That's just how I think about it. That's how I would look at a chart like this. But I don't know, SK or CC, if you have anything you want to add to that.
Yeah, I mean, non-financial advice, and just do your research. When you understand the fundamentals, even if I pull up a screen share, remember the pie chart of all the holders in this ecosystem. You've got 1,000 trillion tokens, half of which is locked in an active participant called the graveyard that ping pongs between 50 and 51%. But then, more importantly, you have the dynamic whale in the system, Bertha. And so over time, just in the last year, you'll see Berthas, really growing in size while the LPs have been shrinking. Now, the participant count, this is what's happening the last couple of days, but let them shake out. The weak hands basically are putting tokens back into the LPs, which is fine. But more importantly, they're putting tokens in the hands of Bertha and the graveyard. When you add these two slices of the pie together, you have an overwhelmingly amount of locked tokens in the protocol that will over time bolster the price, and harden the price. So, if you do your research and you understand that stuff and you've been thinking or itching to want to get in, now could be considered a good opportunity. But like James said, non-financial advice, wait for the floor to establish, and then, things to kind of level off.
Awesome. CC, how's the robot voice?
Well,
oh no, it's worse now.
Oh, it's worse now.
It's worse?
Yeah. Yeah, try restarting your computer or something. I'm sorry,
I
man.
think I'm going to have to do that.
This is the beauty of live. You guys know this isn't a presentation. It's the live. The live technical difficulties are what bring the authenticity of the James Pelton channel to light. So, CC, no problem at all. We'll wait for you if you want to restart. So, and we'll go through some more audience questions here as we're waiting for that. There's a lot of them coming in. So again, audience, if you have other things you want to talk about, get my take on. So SK and CC are really heavy members in the elephant community. I like the elephant community, but I'm in so many things that I don't sit there and look at elephant only. So I like elephant, but I also might have different takes on things too. So happy to give my opinion and SK's opinion on just different things. So next question from Richard: is there any outside revenue besides taxes? I know that's a common take on the elephant ecosystem is, hey, there's no revenue coming in. Doesn't that make it a Ponzi? And I think there's even some more questions kind of talking about that. SK, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, absolutely. So in the future, there will be a time where Bertha, her dollar valuation will be in the multiple hundreds of millions, such that she will start opening up her pocketbook and investing in yield farms and external protocols to bring that back home. But right now, the revenue sources are just coming from the yield generating aspects of the ecosystem. And what do I mean by that? So if you zoom out and think of elephant like a business, much like McDonald's, right? Like people go to McDonald's to eat the hamburgers, but if you don't like hamburgers, maybe you want the chicken nuggets or the McFlurry desserts, you name it. But if everybody stopped going to McDonald's, right, they would fold. They would just go out of business. You need new customers. The same thing applies with elephant in the sense that, you need customers. So if elephant is a business, then that means the share price, or maybe even the Big Mac, is the elephant token, right? If the business is successful, the share price go up, right? And the product being sold, it isn't iPhones like Apple. It's not burgers like McDonald's, but it's yield. It's yield out of futures. So remember, all the money that comes into futures, it purchases elephant token for Bertha. The NFTs, here's another menu item. All the NFTs that are minted actually buy elephant token and put it into Bertha. If I open the menu here and you have trunk token, that'll come more into play in 2024. But as people mint trunk token, or if they buy it within the Farmers Depot over here, that minting buys elephant token on behalf of Bertha. So you have all of these avenues that are aimed at one central idea of buying elephant token and then stuffing it into Bertha, which is why you get such a large whale controlling most of what's happening here. And again, she's still recovering. She used to have 212 trillion tokens. Right now she only has 175 trillion tokens, so she's not quite there. But you have all of that economic energy coming in besides just the fee collection on the token itself when you buy and sell it. You got all of these other yield generating aspects here that are sustainable, actually. And you can look at futures, just for example, you can look at futures, but off of the how many deposits have come into futures? Let me see. Off of the $13 million that's actually come into futures. Remember, that's $13 million that purchased Elephant token and stuffed it into Bertha, which is why Bertha had such a multiplicative growth on that. So she's off of $13 million. She's grown almost $83 million. You see what I'm saying? So she pays the liabilities of futures easily and multiple times over. And so, yeah, you have these sustainable yield generating aspects of the menu.
Okay. Nope, that's very helpful. And BT is planning to join us here in a little bit. There is a video chat going on in the Elephant Money Telegram group, and a lot of people there have questions as well. So thank you to everyone who's here. I'm sure some people are in both right now. They're listening to BT in the Telegram group and here as well. So appreciate you guys being here, and hopefully BT can join us here in a bit. But does Elephant Money have plans to diversify away from BNB and BUSD for its LP? BNB, Binance has kind of talked about those potentially going away here in the future. So do you know if there's plans to kind of move away from those or diversify out of those?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Not BNB per se. There's, you got to remember at the time that Elephant Money launched on the Binance Smart Chain, there really was only just the Binance Smart Chain. Outside of Ethereum at that time, think about this in 2021, you really only had Tron Chain and then Binance Smart Chain for cheap fees. And Tron's kind of but all the money moved to, and the growth moved to BSC. Now, BNB has consistently remained a top 5 crypto, right? And even with all of the exchange FUD with the SEC and CZ, that doesn't directly apply to the Binance Smart Chain, which is all decentralized liquidity. So there's a strong future, I would argue, for BNB token itself. So I think for Elephant, that stays the same. And we just absorb as much BNB into the protocol as possible. Now, the BUSD side, now this is more interesting because obviously BUSD is getting sunset, right? Not only by Paxos in the real world, but eventually on the BSC, the liquidity will dry up. So there are plans. He's already, he's a chess champion thinking 10 steps ahead. But, you can imagine scenarios where new LPs will be created, maybe Elephant paired with Bitcoin Binance, BTCB, right? Or other blue chips that will move us away from BUSD. Or maybe he chooses a more protected stable coin, if there even is such a thing, but USDT or USDC. But yeah. And so even when it comes to futures, remember, futures is a BUSD in and out contract, but that in and out token can be changed. He can literally make it BNB in and out, and then you're just capturing a dollar value. And if you claim out $500, well, you'll just get $500 worth of BNB at the price of BNB that day. So it's very easy to switch things around. So yeah, he will future proof the system away from BUSD, most certainly.
Okay, gotcha. CC, how are we looking? Maybe just say hello, and we'll see how it sounds. Oh,
wait.
Now he. Oh no, I think he lost. I don't think he can hear us now.
Oh no.
Well, we'll wait on CC. We'll get CC in here because he could just be eye candy, he's just we get to see him. Let's see, trying to do damage control. I get it, but I have seen this so many times. I don't think I have ever seen it end well. So SK, maybe what would you say to people who have seen this in other crypto? We kind of talked a little bit about this already, but what would you kind of say to someone who's seen this happen a million times in different crypto projects over the years? What would you say to somebody who's kind of panicking right now?
I mean, you got to stay calm, cool, collected best you can. You should never mix emotions with crypto, just like your crypto, right? But what I would say to that is, honestly, this protocol over 2.5 years has already been through the worst stress test imaginable. And remember, there was a $331 million flash loan that should have knocked this protocol out. That should have made bank teller give up. That should have made a version 2 of the right. All of these things. What's happening yesterday and today, this is just yet another stress test, and it will be another notch on our belt. We have a 2.5-year history of the worst possible scenarios that have already happened, from sell pressure to exploits to negativity in the chats. This is just no different. It's just another stress test, and the Lindy effect kicks in. The longer that we keep surviving, the more probable it is that we will continue to survive. And that's all this is. There's no exploit. There's no vulnerability. This is just, panic selling, but ultimately healthy activity for the long term of the protocol. So if you're panicking, I mean, I wouldn't, but to each their own.
Yep, absolutely. CC, how's the mic situation? Can you hear us?
I can hear you. Is that better?
Yeah.
I think no robot.
No robot.
You're good.
Okay, I think I found out what it was. So
Awesome.
I had another program running in the background that I think was messing with it. Sorry,
that'll
guys.
do it. Well, welcome
And
back.
thank
Glad you
you.
could be here.
And thank you.
One thing I did want to point out to people too. So this is quite a sell, but we're actually just to the price that we were on like September 19th. So we're like at the price we were like 2 weeks ago. So it's actually not even. I mean, the chart doesn't look great. I mean, depending on how exactly you make it look, you can kind of make charts look however you want them to look. But I was just kind of noticing that we're actually just like back to 2 weeks ago, which is pretty crazy to think about. You have this huge drop, but it's really just about 2 weeks. So I'm with you. I'm personally not panicking. I expect people to take profits and things like that. I am curious to see how Elephant recovers from this and how it moves going forward. When I was around back when the exploit happened, which let's look at that. Let's see if we can find that chart on here. Is that it? Yeah, that looks like it. So I was around for this. That was April of last year. And I thought the same thing. I thought, Elephant's gone. And I just I wrote off my trunk is gone. I wrote off my Elephant tokens is gone. I said, well, that was nice. And then even for a while, there wasn't a ton of life. It didn't look like. And so I kind of just ignored Elephant. And it wasn't until people kept bugging me about it, like, hey, Elephant's not gone. They're going to keep building. And then as I kind of kept watching the chart, I'm like, oh, wow, it is coming back. And it's almost to where it was before. So nope, really appreciate that. So personally, I'm not panicking either, but I understand it if you are.
Can I say? Can I chime in as to why I'm not panicking? And this is because I listen to all of SK's AMAs, and so I enjoy learning and understanding as to why I have understanding and faith in this protocol. I also listen to Elephant Money Herd's AMAs. I listen to BT's AMAs, and here I am, not an expert, so I'm just speaking from my own point of view, and that is I've not been in a protocol that had a fixed supply and a treasury that has the floor price that is hardened by the constant product formula. So this is all of the other projects that I've gone into, I didn't have this kind of, for one, education, and for two, did they have these kind of mechanics. And one of the things that Bank Teller was talking about is that SpaceX, it took them 6 years to have a successful launch of satellites, and now they're the best satellite project in the world. And he says himself, he's learned from trial and error to get to this point of engineering. He has an engineering degree, and he has mathematics and finance in his background. And so he said engineering is painful. It's difficult. It's very, very difficult. But he built something with all of those skills engineered into what he built. Plus, again, we have this constant product formula that is hardening the floor price. So when people sell, I am not concerned that, oh, they're just going to be more tokens more tokens is going to be minted so that we can all just keep this false hope alive. This is actually what, we're working with a true market with true mathematics.
Yeah, thank you for adding that. Appreciate it. And we had someone in the audience. CC is definitely eye candy for the AMA, James. I agree. I said that when your audio wasn't working. I said, well, he can't talk, but he's at least eye candy. So, and your wife agrees, which is good.
Yes, that is
keep
very
that
good.
fire alive.
I'll throw one more thing out there,
you.
James. While we were on this stream, there was a large deposit that actually just came into futures, 102,000 BUSD while we were on this live. So maybe one of your community members did it. Hey, good job.
Hey,
but this BUSD Treasury actually just jumped up by 102. Well, I guess 90% of that really. But yeah, this just jumped up. It used to say 100 and whatever thousand. Now it says 280,000. And this is Bertha's money that she will use to buy cheap elephant token and stuff it into her bag. So this is really good for her growth. The bigger the whale gets, the bigger the friendly whale gets in the ecosystem, the stronger, price protection and backstop she'll serve as we go forward. So yeah, really exciting stuff.
That is exciting stuff. This is a natural organic growth of a chart, and of a protocol. This is the natural organic growth of the first decentralized bank in the world. And so I'm not sure what everybody expects, but I believe that the core of this community is not just looking for hey, the chart's just gonna go up and we're just gonna see nothing but green. We know that this is reality. We know that there are humans involved. We understand there's going to be some selling. There are going to be some red days. There were red days in the months prior. And then we saw the mechanics work themselves. As part of my own personal education, I actually took a few classes online and learned stock trading. And I did some stock trading for a while. Is anybody in the audience, have you ever dabbled in stock trading? You know what those charts look like? It is insane, because one day you'll pick certain stocks that you think you're going hey, I'm going to trade Tesla, I'm going to trade some Dutch Bros, I'm going to trade some Apple, and you see it's gone down. Oh, today's a good day to buy, and the next day it has gone down like you wouldn't believe. Oh, WWE, let's do this. EA Sports. It doesn't matter what you're trying to trade, those charts are going up and down every day all over the map. So what do we expect if we're talking about a lot of money and a lot of people? And again, we're looking long term. We don't even have a lot of holders compared to where we could be. The amount that we have in the Treasury it's a salary of 2 NFL quarterbacks this year. Two humans are going to make that this year in the NFL. That's all we have currently, and so this is very, very, really, we're just starting out. This is just the beginning. If you look at if you look at it in context of the kind of money that is going out there in lots of other contexts,
Yeah. Here's a question for you guys. We do have a whole bunch more audience questions, and
Cool.
some of them I'll get to. Some of them I'm not sure are worthy of addressing, but maybe we will. But do you think there's a time, like what will happen? Do you think there's a time where Elephant does reach the top and it's like, okay, we have as many holders, we're not going to be getting new holders because we're, reaching, I don't know what that number is. 15 million wallets, or I don't know what the answer is. But do you guys ever see a time where that happens, or is it so far in the future that we're not thinking about that right now? Or what would you say to someone who asks about that?
That is a good question, and really uncharted territory overall for this protocol. But really, given how the constant product formula has been engineered and fortified around a protocol that's just masterfully dancing with it. It really is limitless. So I have a chart pulled up here that was made by EMH Bailey. Shout out to you, homie. But really, when you look at the amount of LP tokens that that are on the marketplace right now, I think we saw earlier. If I pull up the Dune one more time, you see here we have 87 trillion tokens, right? And we can chart on this predictive table here, where we're at. So 87 trillion right here, and that puts us in this 400, or I guess 47 cent per million range if you did the math and looked at it as a nice easy price per million. But this has changed. This needs to be updated, obviously. But when everything's going and firing on all cylinders, and we start really just dropping the amount of elephant tokens in the LPs, you can see how the price per million actually changes. So like 80 trillion, for example, 59 cents per million is the same as 590 million market cap. This would put us close to all-time high. Then when we drop to 75, look, it's 670 million market cap. And you can just continue going down with the LPs and have a predictive model of where this lands. So here's the ultimate, going all the way down to 60 or 50, let's say 50 trillion tokens. Well, that puts you at a 1.5 billion market cap. And then if we go down to 40 and let's say 30 trillion, that puts us at a 4.2 billion market cap, 9.4 billion market cap, 37 billion market cap. And I mean, geez, you can never drain the LPs of all their tokens, right? It just becomes mathematically impossible, but you can get, really close to this 5 to 1 trillion tokens left in the LPs. And then you're just looking at astronomical, 151 billion market cap, 3.7 trillion market cap. So, I mean, just crazy numbers.
Is it fair to say that some of this is it's experimental and we don't know what the future is going to hold? And I don't know, how would you kind of explain that to someone if they're asking what's the future going to hold? How do you explain that to somebody? Do you kind of see, oh, this chart is how it's going to go, or it's kind of experimental, or oh, it's likely that this will happen, or how do you guys kind of think through that?
Yeah, it's certainly experimental. I mean, this has never been done before. And, when you talk about DeFi protocols, there's nothing like elephant money. We've never seen this math. We've never seen this level of protocol owned liquidity. But, the trajectory that we've been on is showing everything that we've done in the past. So in the future, if this chart were to be followed through, which is the predictive model, you just change around a couple numbers and it'll spit out a new projection. But I mean, we've already been following this trajectory, so it's kind of nice to see what could be in the future, but it's not guaranteed, right? It's just what we're all hoping for in this as we participate. We're all just participants in a DeFi experiment, if you think about it, right? We're just saying, in my opinion, it's just one of the better plays in crypto and experiments to partake in. But really, as the future goes on, if all of those projections hold true, James, these yellow slices of the LPs will be tiny, and then Bertha is just going to continue growing and be massive. And then when you add Bertha plus the graveyard, you'll just have such a huge amount of the supply locked in with the protocol that it's just gonna really squeeze that price up.
Okay. Nope. Very helpful. All right. Well, let's just talk about this once. I'm not going to bring up all the questions about it because no matter where you go, people call people scammers. Okay. So I hear it all the time. But Darko, did BT dump with a bunch of wallets? And we have a few people in the audience who have been saying, oh yeah, BT's known to do this. He dumps on his community. I'm not going to ask all of them, DeFi Detective and all these guys. What would you say to somebody who says, hey, BT's doing this, he's, taking his profit or things like that? What would you kind of say to someone who's saying that?
So,
I guess my first thought is, what's the point? What would be the point? my simple answer.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, and
Go
I would
ahead, SK.
say from yeah, I'll let SK answer too. I would say if you wanted to take profits from Elephant, your best bet would not be to dump it. If BT, we'll say in theory, BT wanted to make as much money from this as he could. Your best option would be not be to dump it and make the chart look terrible so no one else is buying it. The chart's going like this: just sell a little bit every day, and who knows how long this could go for, how high Elephant can get. So to me, I'm trying to be objective. I mean, I do like BT and I like Elephant, so I'm trying to be as objective as possible, but it doesn't make sense to me to dump right now. I don't know. Is anybody in the audience who's saying that he dumped? I mean, does that make any sense why you would do that? Maybe somebody can answer me that, but it doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know. SK, do you have anything you want to add?
Yeah, absolutely. So it doesn't make any sense for him to do this. Like, look, there's plenty of voice notes from him out to the community. And one in particular where it's a 42-minute long voice note, and it's out there on YouTube now too. But, you know, you can really hear the passion in his voice. You know, you actually hear his voice cracking, and he's crying, and he's thinking about, you know, what's driving him to make sure that Elephant is a success. And, you know, with his pedigree being a doxed dev who has over 25 years in business and economics, a CTO at Fidelity, you know, people know about him and his 2 daughters and his 2-bedroom apartment. Like there's no reason for him to be a nefarious actor in the space, right? He's just over 6 years been coding as much as he can, and he's had successes and failures and exploits. But, you know, even when Apple made the iPhone, they didn't get it right the first time. Everything goes through iterations and experimentation and, you know, improvements over time. And with what you're seeing at Elephant Money, this is the culmination of all of that. So there's no reason for him to, I don't think he is dumping the token just to take as much money as he can out. That's just FUD. Okay, that is just categorically false FUD. And you know, when you get to know the guy, you know, like I have, he's not a nefarious actor.
I'd like to add something to that. You know, as you're talking, I just want to share something pretty personal. You know, we've all had bad experiences in our lives, you know, and I'd like to share, you know, my wife and I, you know, we've been musicians for 30 years. And, you know, when you're, you know, almost every musician wants that to be their career. And it's a lot of work for very little money. And you keep doing it because you know that it's making a difference. And for us, a lot of what we do is for ministry. So it's touching lives and helping people out. And, you know, back in early 2000, we released a CD and I sent it down to a family friend who was living in LA at the time. And he called me, he said, "Hey, I love that CD. And I work here at Universal. And let's record some more music. We could potentially, you know, I'll put it in the hands of all of the, you know, this is Universal Music Publishing. This is the biggest music publisher in the world. Just won a Grammy." And he told me the artist, one of the best smooth jazz artists there is in the world. He just won a Grammy on his album. He said, let's do this. Long story short, we ended up recording an entire album. We ended up giving him all the money to do all of the recording, which added up to more than 6 figures. Shelly's mom and dad put in money for this. We recorded down there, and pretty quickly we started seeing some red flags in his personality. And he told us he had a distribution deal in hand, so he needed more money. After a while, we realized that this was a long scam. And so we got nothing out of it. And that hurt us really deeply, especially because we're friends with all of his siblings up here where we live. And his brother, in fact, came and met with us and said he suspected something was wrong with how his brother was doing business down there. And that was very healing. And my point in telling you this is that I'm sure a lot of you have been through some very difficult situations in your life. And so my antenna are up as to what kind of characters or what kind of people I'm working with. And the hours that I've spent listening to BT have given me an incredible sense that he's about other people and not about himself. He's not trying to cut corners. He's not just trying to line his own pockets with money that other people are going to give to him, because over the months and over the over the course of a few years, you can start to see that flush out. And when he's talking about, he said, I built this project, but it's the community that does all of these other charts and they do these other ways that people can understand. It's about the community. He's constantly talking about how this is something that can create wealth distribution for so many people. And for him to do a 40-minute voice message and then another 40-minute voice message, and he's just talking off the top of his head and sharing about how he grew up and his life and his blue collar family and all of this. I just don't know that there are people who are just ready to rip you off, and they're willing to be that honest, that transparent, talking about their background, talking about how much they care about all of us, and just do that over and over and over again. And then he has proven, when he says he's planning to do things, they get done. He does them. When he wants to give people a little something, a little thank you for what we've done, he does it over and over and over again. So, none of us are putting him on some pedestal like he's like, this is an idol worship of a person, and he doesn't want that either. But just like SK said, there's just this unsubstantiated FUD out there, and it's not based on anything that any of us have seen. There's nothing to base it upon. So that's my personal experience.
There you go. Yeah, and I don't know BT as well as you guys do, obviously, but for me, it just doesn't even make sense from like a scammer perspective. Like this, he would be a terrible scammer if the chart is going this way, and the chart is looking so good. I mean, look at the chart before this, and if you hold a lot of elephant money, you would make a lot more money if you sold slowly. I mean, you could sell quite a bit and not make the chart crash, but it wouldn't make any sense. You'd have to be the dumbest, and he's not a dumb guy, if nothing else. And you'd have to be very foolish to make the chart crash, and then you can't sell anymore. Like, that doesn't make any. Why wouldn't you just let it go up and sell slowly? I mean, I'm not very devious, but even I can tell that would be a terrible scamming strategy. On your own protocol too. Like, I don't know. To me, that doesn't make any sense. I'm trying to be objective. I don't know BT as well. I've talked to him a few times, but to me, it just doesn't make any sense. And anybody who's talking about that in the chat, if you can bring any facts or information or something other than just saying it. And part of the reason I know this too is because I have people all the time telling me I'm a scammer. And I say, what do you mean? Like, what did I do that makes me a scammer? And they say, well, everyone knows it. And I'm like, well, I can't even refute that because I don't even know what you're talking about. So I don't know.
Good.
That's my take. If BT were a scammer, Funny Turo says if BT were a scammer, he would be everywhere asking people to buy this token. He does the opposite, telling his community to introduce the token, but don't push it. Very true. I can tell you too, if he was a scammer, he would have a more robust referral system. Okay. I know all about 12, 8 level deep referral systems that get a lot of people into your ecosystem. And that would be the way to do it if you were going to scam someone.
Yeah, I'm with you, James. And I don't know all the rug pulls, but I've been a part of a few of them. It seems they tend to follow a pattern that they raise money real quickly, and then when they get about to the 3 million range, that's when they rug pull. That seems to be kind of the scammer number. You know, so we're way, way, way past that. And just like you said, why do stuff now and shake it up, and then people are upset and all that stuff. But then doing a 20-minute voice message talking to us, which he did yesterday, just said, hey, you know, we're each one teach one, keep, just stay the course, and we're small and we're just at the beginning. He's totally cool headed, and he honors the community all the time. He says, congratulations to the community, we've hit this point, and just keep going. And he's had people in the community for 6 years. He's maintained that kind of a relationship. That doesn't happen by just accident. You've got to do a lot to maintain friendships and grow them, and have people continue to want to be a part of your circle. It's pretty easy to just disappear, and if you don't like somebody, you can just walk away from especially here online. We don't even live in the same town. It's just like, oh, okay, I don't like you anymore. And you got all these people from all over the world who are enjoying and appreciating and sticking with Elephant Money.
Yeah, look, at the end of the day, when the price is going up, none of the haters are saying anything, are they? Right? But the day everything's looking a little shaky, that's when all the regurgitated FUD and the unsubstantiated, I heard this, so it must be true, and yada yada. Guys, don't get clouded by all of that negativity. Like, look, good vibes only this way, right? And the fundamentals, it's all in the math and the numbers, and it speaks for itself. So, just don't get caught up in the nonsense is what I'd say.
Yeah. Nope. Absolutely.
There's a really, really, really large community out there, and some of the influencers have been doing and covering Elephant Money, and I'm sure there are a lot of people who bought into the negative BT FUD, who don't like it, and they want to say stuff, and it doesn't do anybody any good, but it's the truth is coming out. Drip is a fork of what BT created, and BT moved on to create a better model. But then this FUD came out and said, "Well, BT rugged on his former project," and some negative stuff. So people have believed that. But then I see some very, very influential folks who are saying, here are the facts. And we've been in Drip for many, many, many years, and now we need to continue to look for, successful projects. And they get attacked by, oh my gosh, you're not being loyal to Drip. Hey, we've been loyal to Drip for many, many years. Hey, all of us in Elephant would love to see Drip be successful too. That's our attitude. We don't want to see something. We want to see all of DeFi be successful, because that benefits everybody.
Yep. Totally agree.
Right.
So we won't talk more about that. If anybody has like actual data or something they want to bring up, that's fine. But just coming on and saying things that's not helpful for anyone, in my opinion. So and I'm trying to be objective. I'm not trying to just ban fudders or anything like that. But if all you're saying is, if your response to me saying, do you have any like data or anything, and your response is everyone knows it, I'll just say that's stupid. Okay. that's all I'll say. But let's move on from that. We should probably wrap up here. The time flies when you're having fun. I like hanging out with you guys. Let's see. Let's skim through the questions, see if there's any good ones. I'm actually driving to Chicago tonight. It's about a 9-hour drive, so I have to get going here pretty soon. Funny Taro, good to see you. Berthas, the ultimate passive investor, DCAing all the time. Absolutely.
Hey,
yeah, you know
Taro,
what? We've got a lot of good. Yeah, shout out to Funny Taro.
Shout to you, because you're always in these James Pelton AMAs, every AMA he does, and you've become a real positive member of the herd. So shout to you, man.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it very much. So we have a lot of good questions. You know what, guys? Let's schedule another one. Okay, we can do it. next week or in 2 weeks or whenever. It'll be interesting to kind of see, where this stops. And where we kind of end up at. I do want to remind people again, like some people are saying this is a bloodbath, and it definitely doesn't look good. But again, I just want to remind you, we're at the price we were at like September. We're to September 17th now, maybe a little, or maybe September 16th. But it's like 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago, this is where we were at, and except for Berthas bigger now. So I don't know. I don't see it. It's definitely not like the exploit. The exploit was from up here to zero.
Yeah,
I mean, Bertha was empty at the end of the exploit. I mean, there was no hope. And it came back from that. And so I don't know. We'll wait and see.
Yeah, somebody on the main chat said, well, I'm just going to have to delay my retirement by 2 weeks.
Yeah.
With a big smiley face. Okay.
Exactly. So let's go ahead. We'll wrap up there. I appreciate all you guys being here. Let's schedule another one maybe for next week sometime. I do want to go through all these questions. We've got some good questions. Looking at different aspects of the protocol and different challenges, and those are all good. So I think open to all of it. So we'll schedule that again. But for now, I think we'll go ahead and wrap up. Is BT still going in the elephant? Could tell people to head over there.
He is.
He's still going. Okay. BT, yeah. I will say he can be a little long-winded at times, but it's because he's passionate. Okay. So BT is currently in the Elephant Money chat talking. So if you want to go over there, I'll leave a link to the Elephant Money Telegram. But just go hop in there and you can listen to BT kind of talk about his take on all this. And maybe for our one next week, we'll see if we can get him on for that as well, because it'd be great to talk to him again. So I'll grab a link. Let me see if I can. I thought I could multitask better, but I'm getting old. My multitasking. There we go. Got it. So go hop in there.
Easy. Not easy.
But we'll go ahead first. Thank the audience. You guys are amazing. Even if I had to ban you or put you on timeout, okay, I still appreciate you being here. And I would love to hear all the feedback. If BT dumped something, find me a TX ID of a wallet that you can attach to him with him dumping something and send it to me. I'm happy to look at that. Like I'm trying to be objective. I don't want to lose my money. I have a bunch of trunk. I have a bunch of futures. I have a bunch of elephant tokens. So, let me know on that. But I appreciate all you guys and everyone from the elephant community. Thank you guys for being here as well. Appreciate that. And SK and CC, very much appreciate you guys being here, talking through things, answering our questions, helping us learn more about the protocol. So thank you guys very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us, brother. We'll see you soon.
Awesome. We'll talk to you all later. Appreciate you guys and have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much.